Okay, welcome back to my SparkFun Electronics Kit guide here. We're going to be doing circuit number 4 today. So this circuit involves multiple LEDs. So we can arrange our LEDs into a pattern and have different lighting patterns and all sorts of fun stuff. So the basics are pretty simple. We just got a lot of components. So we need our LEDs. This program uses 8 LEDs, so we've got 4 yellow, 4 red. And then we need a resistor, 330 ohm resistor for each one, so that's 8 resistors. And then we've got our wires to control each light, so there's 8 wires here, plus our 2 voltage and ground wires, so that makes a total of 10 wires. So by now, most of you should, if you've been following along, should be able to kind of hook up your own board, follow the instructions. So instead of boring you with that, I'm going to do that and come right back. Okay, so here we are all set up. We've got all our LEDs arranged in a row, each connected to a resistor, and then each with a wire that's connected to the board, and then of course our usual voltage and ground. So let's plug this in, and then we are going to go and load up the program. Moving on, now we've got to load up our examples, so we're going to do circuit number 4 this time. So that pops up. Let's see what we've got here. So the new thing in this program is that we are starting to work with arrays. So an array is basically like a container that will hold all of one kind of the same value here. So here we're holding a bunch of integers for our LED pins. Now these are just all the numbers on the Arduino board that we've hooked up each individual light to. So instead of having to access them one at a time, we can access them kind of all together in this group. So that's going to be useful for when we set up here. Okay, so in our setup, if we stick that array right into this for loop, you can see this code is much shorter than having to say that we're going to do each one at a time. So instead of 2, 3, 4, 5, we run this loop all the way through the index of the array here, and that will turn on each one by itself in turn without us having to code it all by hand. All right, so now we're going to get to our loop. So this loop calls a whole bunch of functions here, but as you can see, all these are commented out. So you can have some kind of fun by turning one off and doing the other. But basically each one, this one will light up all the LEDs, this one turns them on one at a time. Basically these are all controlled with the use of for loops, different ways to use them and all that kind of fun stuff. You can see all the exciting stuff down here. I'm not going to get into it. The only one I'll draw your attention to is this random LED. How does that work? Well, it certainly doesn't use for loops. What it does is come down here, and we've got a couple of variables here, but we have this code random. This basically selects a random digit. So as you can see here, it's between 0 and 7 because we put in the value of 8. We have 8 lights. So whatever value it picks, it'll just turn on a random light. And then of course we're gonna turn it off afterwards and then keep cycling through, just randomly picking. So that's pretty handy when you want to have random behavior in your circuits. That'll be pretty good. So I will load up this program and tell you what, I will go through and I will comment out each of these ones and we'll take a look at what each one does. So we're gonna start with this one after another loop, and I'm gonna upload that one right now. Okay, so here we've got the one after another loop running. As you can see, it just lights them all up and then turns them all off, right? One after the other, just like it says. Okay, this is our second one after another loop. Does the same thing, but if you look at the code, it does it with much less coding. Instead of having to code each one by hand, we're gonna use those for loops. Alright, here's the one at a time loop running. So instead of turning them all off and going back and forth that way, we're just going to turn each one on and off, one after the other. Alright, here's our ping pong loop running. As you can see, we're turning them off one at a time, but instead of cycling through each one, we're just going back and forth. Again, all this kind of stuff done with for loops, making it very easy for us to program. Okay, and this is our final for loop program. It's called Marquee, because it's like you see on the marquee LED signs you'll see at night in and around the city. Basically, you've got the two lights just chasing each other down the LED path here. And our last loop in this program, the random LEDs. So as you can see, no way to predict which one is going on, just calls that random number each time and lights them up. Alright, so that's it. Thanks for watching. It's been lots of fun. Don't forget to use for loops in your programs, makes your life a lot easier. And also, using arrays to control a bunch of values together makes those for loops a lot easier to run. See you next time.